Hello everyone, my name is Zainab Abdulkadir, but everyone calls me Z. Today I will be going over my week 6 discussion video blog, part 1, for Dr. Williams' course Information 685 System Requirements. So for this week, in the last week lecture, we went over the important stages of software requirement. So this week, Dr. Williams wants us to briefly go over two questions, and the two questions are: how much of a contribution does requirements make to a software development project, and how will you test interface usability at requirement phases of a software development project? So when thinking about a software development project, you have to look at it as a whole. So I will briefly go over the key phases of software development within the software development project. So when creating a software development project, the first thing that a team will do will gather and analyze the information required and identify any risk or create strategies for risks. In this stage, all the requirements should be documented, and all the meetings and information exchange should also be kept, and everyone in the team should also be on the same page. So once the requirement gathering and analysis phase is complete, then we'll go on to the design phase. So in the design phase, the requirements from the organization will be broken down, and this will help create a project timeline and basically give that estimation of the amount of resources needed and who will be involved in the project. And also during this phase, this is when we want to identify and make specification on the workflow of the application and the specific design you want to go with. In this stage, tools will be used for the software to create the application, and once the design is identified, then we go to beginning the development, and this is when the requirements and details of their sources are basically assigned and tasked to different individuals, and each individual within the team. And this is when they know when every team member is aware of their tasks and requirements. So once everyone in the team member breaks down their assignment and delivers their portion of the work, this is when they go into testing. So in this phase, this is when you test the usability functionality of the application, and this is right before you make it available to the organization, that project that you're working on. So in this phase, this is the prototyping stage of the project, and at the end, the project implementation is when you complete the project and the project is ready to be implemented, and this is basically the go live date. So for usability with a development project, I feel that usability testing is important when creating the developmental cycle, and it should be introduced in every phase of the project. So I would decide to go to us with a cyclical design process. So early on, focus on the user, concentrate on understanding how the user wants to see the design process, integrating their wants and needs into the design. Continue doing early and continuous testing, incorporating usability testing throughout the whole developmental process, so you can receive feedback on the design before the product is even released. So in these different phases, there's the envisioning phase, where you envision how you want your product to be. There's the planning phase, where you will put all the requirements, wants, and needs, and identify the tasks and roles of each individual. And then there is the developing phase, in which you take all the requirements and create the design process. And then there's a stabilizing phase, which is the prototyping, getting feedback, and then the go live. So how much of the contribution does the requirement make to a software development project? I feel like during the requirements that this is a huge part of the software development project. I feel that the requirements are constantly reintroduced and constantly is the main focus during the whole project process, and the usability and interfacing testing is important in each stage to make sure that there is no mistakes, or if there's little error that the project team can go back and fix it before the go live date to have a successful outcome. And the different testing could be prototyping. There could be other forms in which you get feedback, such as surveys, or just like beta testing, just doing a short go live for a section of not the whole organization, but different sections within the organization. Thank you.